Another state being hit hard, my home state of New Jersey. It recorded more than 6,000 cases for the first time yesterday. The governor of New Jersey, Democrat Phil Murphy, joins us now. Governor, thank you for joining me. I have to ask you about this party. The New York Young Republicans couldn't hold an event in New York because the rules wouldn't permit it, but they held a gala here in our state. You called out Congressman Matt Gaetz, who, he attended this party. But here's the thing. Matt Gaetz doesn't care. He doesn't care that you called him a putz. He doesn't care that you don't want him in New Jersey. He loves this national news. But now those people who broke the rules could be spreading this virus and killing people across our state. You're the one who makes the rules. Do you need to put more restrictions in place and actually punish these people?
First of all, Stephanie, God bless you and your family, and we wish you a speedy recovery, and your personal testament to the toll that this virus could take is extremely compelling, and God willing, will save others from the path that you've been down. Secondly, we've got the same darn rules that New York has. These jerks just came in. It's under investigation, including the venue. And it's unfathomable. The pictures, nobody's wearing a mask. They're inside. They're on top of each other. It's ridiculous. And this guy, all he craves is national attention, as you rightfully point out. He doesn't care about people getting infected or people getting hospitalized or, God forbid, people dying from this thing. It's the height of irresponsibility. But the answer is yes. As I say, we've got the same restrictions, plus or minus New York has. These folks violated it. It's under investigation, and I'm not happy. And I don't know how you could be happy after something like that.
But maybe people would care more and listen more if there were more punitive consequences, right? In your rules, you're urging people who come into New Jersey from out of town to quarantine. But all it is an honor system. Matt Gaetz didn't follow it. Do you need to do something more than an honor system? Lives are at risk.
Listen, Steph, it's impossible to enforce somebody taking the Lincoln Tunnel from New York City into Hudson County. But we enforce them all the time. There's a restaurant in Bergen County about 10 days ago. It's paying a huge price for gatherings right around Thanksgiving. We've got enforcement up and down the state. I worry, frankly, more because most operators are doing the right thing and most people are doing the right thing. I worry right now about somebody's living room, a private setting, where no amount of enforcement can get into every living room or private setting in our state. That, to me, is where our biggest challenge is. That's where the pandemic fatigue is at its height. That's where people are letting their guard down. And I would just plead with people, not just do the right thing when you're in a restaurant or a gym, but do the right thing when you're in your own home.
What about people who can't afford to do the right thing? People who aren't like me, who don't have a salaried job or work at a company that says, go home and take care of yourself. Do you need to do more to financially support those people? Because I can tell you, as sick as I've been, I feel well enough that I could go to work if it meant the only way to put food on my table.
Yeah, that's a great point. And this is where the federal government has to come in. We are way past due for a big meet-the-moment federal stimulus that would go right at a whole number of our weakest aspects right now, including those who don't have the alternatives that you and I have. The folks who are living in multi-generational, intense living circumstances that may not be able to afford health care. That informs our testing priorities. It informs our vaccine distribution priorities. We'll lay every penny we can on the street. No American state has the amount of money that is needed right now. The federal government has got to step up. It is way past due, and it needs to be a big move by them. It has to meet this moment in history because it's unlike any other moment we've ever faced as a country.
Do you need to take over testing? Right now, people are just going to urgent cares. We're waiting in line for hours for a test, and then we're waiting days to get those results. And the guideline is during that period of time, we should all be isolating. But people aren't. They're out and they're infecting others. Would that change if the government took over testing?
I think if we had a national testing response, a national response period, which would include testing, face coverings, the Defense Production Act, to pick 3 examples, we've got far too much of a patchwork quilt approach to this virus from day one. We have over 400 testing sites. We constantly are sponsoring mobile sites, particularly in our urban communities. If you're watching from New Jersey, it's covid19.nj.gov/testing. You can look up and find one of those 400 locations. Lines have gotten longer. Turnaround has gotten longer, and that's because we're all facing this at the same time, every American state. So the answer is yes. If we had a federal government approach that had some very basic national principles, we'd be in a far better place.
I ask you, as someone who hasn't been called, how do you think we're doing with contact tracing?
Mixed at best. The good news is we've got really good, my guess is you're going to get called, by the way, at some point today. We've got really good folks who have volunteered, who have come in and are now paid on the staff of our community contact tracing corps. They reflect the community. We're the most diverse American state. They make the calls. Too few, that's the good news. The bad news is too few people are cooperating. And that is really hurting us right now.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.